I have people tell me all the time that they don't know how to cook steak. So there's lots of different ways to do it, but tonight I'm going to show you what I think is just a really easy and foolproof method to cook steaks, and you can cook all different kinds of cuts like this: fillets, New York strips, ribeyes, top sirloins, whatever. So stay tuned. So I've picked up a couple of filet mignon from Costco today. I thought these things were really pretty and they had a good price. So the first thing that I want to do after I take them out of the package is rinse them under some cold water, and then I'm going to pat them dry with a paper towel and leave them out to come to room temperature. Now that I have these rinsed and patted dry, I'm going to top them with a little bit of sea salt. So we're just going to leave these out for about 30 minutes to an hour, just to kind of get some of the chill off the steak, which will help them cook a little more evenly and be super tender and delicious. All right, these steaks have been sitting for about 40 minutes, and you'll notice that the salt that we put on them drew a lot of moisture out of the steaks, which is drawing all those proteins out. So what you want to do is go ahead and just take another paper towel and kind of pat all that moisture off of both sides of the steak. Now, once you've patted them dry a second time, it's at this point that you can season them again with either salt or pepper. I like to use this McCormick Montreal seasoning. For this particular method, it's super tasty. So I just follow the directions, and for 1 pound, it's 1 tablespoon. These are about 8-ounce fillets, so I'm going to put a half a tablespoon or 1.5 teaspoons per fillet, on mixing it on both sides and around the edges. Now that we have the steak seasoned, I'm going to go ahead and get my cast iron skillet heated up to about 500 degrees. If you don't have cast iron, not a problem. You can use any heavy bottom pan and it should do fine. But I like cast iron because it's super easy to clean. Also, while your pan is heating up, go ahead and make sure that you have your oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's getting nice and hot. It's almost to 500 degrees. The pan is, so I'm going to go ahead and toss in a couple pieces of butter. Get those melted. We're going to go ahead and add our steaks. Go ahead and sear them for about 2 minutes per side. After 2 minutes, we're just going to flip and sear the other side. Now that the second side is done, I'm going to go ahead and sear each side of the steak for about 30 seconds. Okay, now that both sides and all around has been nice and seared, we're going to go ahead and remove these from the pan and put them on a roasting pan. Another key to getting a steak cooked just right is just making sure you have the temperature. You can do the old school version of checking for time and trying to learn what it feels like to be done, but I just like to use a thermometer. It's just easier that way. So what you want to do is get the thermometer to the center of the meat. So what I like to do is just measure to the middle using my fingers, and then go from the side into the middle of the steak and just push it in until your thumbs meet, and then you know that you're done. So with the thermometer in the steak, you can see that the steak is only at 90 degrees internal temperature. My wife likes hers right on the edge of medium rare to medium. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this steak up to 128 degrees. Then I'll remove it from the oven and let it rest for about 5 minutes before we serve it. So Okay, now that the thermometer says that they're to 128 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and take them out and put them on another place to rest. I've now removed the steaks from the oven and I'm going to put them on this wooden tray and I'm going to temp them with foil. And I'm going to let them rest for about 4 to 5 minutes. Now these steaks were just under 2 inches thick and it took them 13 and a half minutes to come to temperature. Okay, after 4 minutes these things have rested. They're beautifully done and now I'm going to go ahead and plate them.